What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and all of my humans? My name is Carrie, and today, aka yesterday, is my 7-year fountain pen anniversary. So my anniversary is actually on Thursday, November 25th, but I post every Monday and Friday, so I thought, well, you know what, it's only one day off. No biggie. So to celebrate my 7-year fountain pen anniversary, I thought, what better way to do that than A, make a video, and B, buy a fountain pen. And which fountain pen I bought will shock you. But first, before we do that, let me really quickly just get into the story of how I even got into fountain pens. I've told this before, so for those of you who have watched my channel for some time, you probably already know it. But basically I got into this hobby by complete accident. Nobody brought me in or anything like that. I just stumbled my way into it. So I was on Amazon like one does back in 2014, and I bought something and I don't even recall what it was. So obviously it was important. But that was back in the day before I had Amazon Prime and free shipping. You had to get like a certain price point. And I was pretty close to what the free shipping was. And that was also back in the day where like I didn't order online very often. I wish I didn't order online as much as I do now, but you know, that's a subject for another day. So I, was like, okay, I only need to spend like $12 more, something like that. So, Amazon pops up like this recommended for you thing. And one of them was a fountain pen, and I had no idea what that was. So I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll give it a try. Sure. And the pen that it was the Pilot Metropolitan. It was all silver. None of the funny prints or whatever, those came out after. It was completely all silver. And I thought, well, that seems really flippin' expensive to spend like $17 on a pen. But I did it anyways, because I would much rather buy something for the cost of shipping, essentially, and get something than to just pay for shipping. I also wish that I still thought $17 for a fountain pen was expensive. But what 7 years will do to you. So I bought it, and it arrived a few days later. I had no idea what it was. I opened up the container, was like, the heck is this? Semi-read the instructions because half of it was in Japanese. And I just found out that you had to pop the cartridge in and you should be good to go. So I did that, and then I started writing, but it didn't write. So I was very confused. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll give it a second. I think Parker broke something. Hang on. Okay. Just had to go save the day. Where was I? I don't remember now. Yeah, so I popped the cartridge into the pen. Didn't work immediately. And so I was super confused. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I do have to give it a second and just whatever. So I put it down, I walked away, I did something else, came back, like, I want to say like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes later, uncapped it, started writing, and it still didn't write. So I was like, what the? And so I kind of like shook it a little bit, and then of course it started to write. And I was like, okay. So it just took a little bit. So I started to write, and it was flippin' terrible. Like, terrible. I did not like it at all. It was feathering everywhere. Like, it was not nice. So I was kind of peeved. I was like, so I just spent like freaking this much money on this pen. Like, holy smokes, what's going on? So I decided to do what any elder millennial would do, and I Googled it. And of course, I came across Brian Goulet's Fountain Pen 101 series on YouTube. Of course, 7 years ago, the quality was much more similar to the way I make my videos. It's just turning on a camera and chatting. This is well before he had like a whole crew and setup and everything. So like I'm sure the vast majority of people, he was the one to provide the base level knowledge of mine. And I am one who, when they decide to get into a hobby, it is all or nothing. Like, it's not just okay, I'm satisfied with this one little thing, I'm going to use that for a little bit. Like, I am jumping in the deep end. So I watched like probably 4 hours worth of the videos, just one after the other. So I learned obviously that paper is a thing. So I did place an order on his site, but the fact that he's in the States, I'm in Canada, I knew it was going to take a while. So I went to my local Staples and I tried to find pen paper, like fountain pen paper, that would do the trick. And so I only really knew to look for like the GSM, so like the paper weight. I didn't know yet what kind of paper, like, you know, how there's watercolor paper, there's like pastel paper, there's, you know, construction paper, there's all this kind of stuff. Paper to me was just paper. Paper was just like crap you wrote on in school or like printed out of the thing. Whatever. That was as much knowledge as I had. So I bought like some sort of art paper. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was probably like watercolor mixed media paper or something like that. And it still feathered a little bit and the paper was really thick. And so you definitely felt drag. But it was much, 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 much better than just like the school, like Hillary paper I was using before. So I thought, well, this is better than what it was. So the paper that I bought from Goulet will probably be way, way better. Just be patient. And I know I bought a Rhodia dot pad, and I think I bought his like sample paper where he gives you like little booklets of like a bunch of different stuff. And when that arrived, that's when the rabbit hole really started. One, because I thought that the way that they wrapped their gifts were like super stellar. Two, because I had never once received a thank you note for placing an order, and that just blew my mind. And I'd also never gotten candy in an order before. So placing that order there really is what helped catapult me into the hobby more. And very, very, very quickly, it all just became my life. So it just kind of snowballed from there. I bought a few more fountain pens, a little bit more paper, started doing more. 2 years after that, so 2016, is when I started making these videos. And it just kind of went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And now it's almost 2022 and here I am. So I really owe my fountain pen hobby to Amazon, which is weird to say. And then Goulet for fixing my terrible experience. Because I'm sure if he had not made those videos, I probably just would have put that pen in a drawer somewhere and it would have caked up and gotten crusty and then I would have just thrown it out and that would have been life. But I didn't, and I watched his videos and here we are. So all that said, what pen did I buy for my 7-year fountain pen anniversary? Well, dun, 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 I bought a Pilot Metropolitan. Hey! I bought the Pilot Metropolitan. One, because I actually did end up selling the all silver one, the very first fountain pen I ever had. I always said that I wouldn't forever and ever, and I am next to positive that it was a medium nib. This has a fine nib. Next to positive that it was a medium, but yeah, I ended up selling it, even though I said I never would, because I went through the whole snob phase of fountain pens where I'm like, I'm now a fountain pen aficionado. I need gold nibs. I know what I like. Blur. And now I'm out of that. And I'm like, if it writes superbly, then that's all I want. And I really missed having the Pilot Metropolitan in my collection. I'm trying to pare down the collection, even though it still gets absurd, all the time. Stay tuned. There will be another round of fountain pen sales very shortly. It will be a lot. There will be a lot available. I'm selling probably 2/3 of my collection, not because I'm getting out of this hobby, have no fear. It's mostly because I have too many. I don't use that many. I would like a smaller collection, and I have to start buying like furniture and a ton of expensive stuff for my condo. Plus, I do want to continue buying more fountain pens for this channel. So stay tuned. That'll probably be up in the next week or two. And yeah, so I bought the Pilot Metropolitan. Currently, it is inked up with actually an ink sample, which if you're on my Instagram, Pens and Tea, you'll know I had a wee bit of an accident when I filled it. So it's just kind of fitting, you know? It's like the very first pen I ever bought, accident, you know, with J.Herbin, Poussière de Lune. Mostly because Brian Goulet and Drew Brown, my goodness, in their pencast videos, which I totally love, by the way. Gentlemen, if you happen to watch this, I doubt it, but if you ever do, keep doing them, because I love the fact that your videos are so long, because I get all of my housework done while having your videos on. So keep doing it. It helps me be productive. But anyways, they were talking about that ink, and it just kind of sparked my fancy. So that is what is in this pen. I did not buy this from Brian Goulet. I do have another order though on the way from them. I picked this one up from Wonder Pens in Toronto. But this one is the like dark gray slate one with the little wave design here. I don't know what they actually are. And yeah, I did get a fine nib on this one, but I do have the replacement medium on it because Wonder Pens does sell both nibs. So I'm gonna flip it around and I'm going to show you how it writes. Okay, so as always, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. This one actually is the medium steel that I have on here. And like I said, the ink is J.Herbin, which I think they just go by Herbin now, but I could be wrong. Poussière de Lune. I am terrible Canadian and I don't speak French, so I probably butchered that. So if you do speak French, I apologize. The pen is fairly stiff. I mean, it's a true steel nib, but you do squeege just a teeny little bit of line variation if you need it, but certainly not meant to. Reverse you can, but it is hecka scratchy. Don't do it. The regular writing though is very smooth. I like it a lot. I'm a huge Pilot fan, and I do really enjoy it. I also really like the weight of this pen. It is a metal pen, and yes, I am using the little squeeze bladder in here. It's a mostly metal pen, so it does have some weight, but if you notice, like, I don't think you can see it, but it's plastic on the inside, but has metal on the outside. So it's a little bit weighty, but it's not like super heavy. So for example, like this Kaweco Lilliput is solid metal. It is heavier than the Pilot Metro, but it does give you some, and it does post phenomenally if you want to add a little bit more. This isn't meant to be a full review. If you want to see a full review, I've done a few of them on my channel. But I really like the performance. I've always liked the Metro. I've always preferred it over the Lamy 2000, my goodness, Lamy Safari or All-Star, which is what people like to compare it to for like starter pens and things like that. I do also prefer it over the Platinum Preppy for like starter pens, things like that too. I also really like this ink. It's like a dark dusty purple, which is really nice. So yeah, I just wanted something that was just a good solid fountain pen again, like one that I could take anywhere, you know, not really fret about it too much, but it's so reliable. Like this is a solid fountain pen. Not a gusher as far as the wetness goes. Granted, this ink is not a super wet ink either. It's also not really dry ink. It's just sort of like middle of the road, but it's just solid. And that's really all I can say about it. Nothing about it is like, holy smokes, this is the best pen ever. But it is, well, to use it again, solid. It's really all you need in a fountain pen. So do I recommend it? Heck yeah. Most of you have probably like tried it already. But if you haven't, I'd recommend you give it a go. Yeah, so that, guys, is the pen that I bought for my 7-year fountain pen anniversary. Maybe I'll make number 10 a really big one. Who knows? But I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, especially if you've been with me since 2016 when I started making the videos about 5 years ago. So you guys rock. If you're still here, you're the reason why I make these videos. And as always, like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.